Name one benefit that a man gets from marriage that he wouldn't get in a regular relationship.
Just one.
Well, I think, as a woman, if you're...
I'm asking you as a man, since you're, attacking men for being Peter Pan.
I think a lot of men who choose to get married are incentivized by the fact that they are able to claim that woman as theirs. And
but name one benefit that they would get in a marriage that they wouldn't get in a regular relationship.
Well, I think even though it's not 100%, there's peace of mind that woman is going to be loyal to you.
The answer is there's none. You're dancing around it. There is none.
So, the argument is that there are zero benefits for men to get married. I was tagged in this video, and here's what I will say because I know it will challenge some of you. And yes, I took a few good shots to the Moneymaker sparring earlier today, and that's why I'm a little marked up. Anyways, let's get into it. When a man invests himself in a marriage, he exposes himself to the vulnerability and the responsibility that marriage requires. That places him in a position of ownership and masculinity unlike anything he would experience in a regular relationship, where he can keep one foot out the door, where he can feel safe and can leverage the uncommitment of that position. That is a man seeking power and safety, not partnership and sacrifice. Being a husband calls a man to a higher standard of behavior, commitment, and risk than being a boyfriend. And if you really think deeply about it, that in and of itself is a benefit to a man. I think it is also important to ask ourselves, what is the best possible foundation to build a home and a family upon? I think that this conversation, especially in the contexts that Fresh and Fit insist on arguing with 19-year-old sex workers over 24/7, is all about materialism, power, money, selfishness above everything else. Marriage requires a man to put his money and his commitment where his mouth is. Does it generally require the same from women? No, it does not. But as much as marriage at face value, or more accurately, financial value, seems to benefit only women, women also never get their time back. So if a woman spends her 20s in a relationship or marriage, she can't get that back. And according to these guys, once a woman is in her 30s, she is worthless. On top of that, women also don't get their bodies back after they've had kids with you. And we all know how these guys talk about women with kids. So if you really think about it, who is actually risking more by being in a long-term relationship? So are you guys really out here expecting women to give up all of their limited time and their bodies, and you still won't marry them? So you expect her to take on all the risk. Another fun fact, statistically, women fare worse after divorce financially and relationally than men. Imagine that. These guys are literally advocating for the type of man who never commits, whose provision and protection are conditional tools of leverage for a woman's absolute obedience. They also believe that men should be allowed to cheat. Is that the picture of a man that men should aspire to emulate? Is that your idea of the pinnacle of masculinity? Is that the type of man that you want for your daughters and for your sisters and for your mothers? Is that the type of man who makes a good father? No. And do any of you ever bother to ask yourself why none of these hyper-successful 1%er alpha males of the internet ever align with or marry one of the young, conservative, fine, fit, friendly, and submissive women that they go on and on about women needing to be more like? Wouldn't you expect all of the rare, amazing women that do exist to be lining up for such rare, successful, amazing provider, protector men? Think about that twice. So why are we listening to this? Because it confirms biases, it strokes egos, it triggers the biological us versus them survival centers in our brains. Most of the people in the conversation actually come from broken homes and broken marriages and single mothers and absent fathers. And maybe y'all need to start taking accountability and start listening to the people who got it right, rather than listening to the garbage that just validates the garbage that you came from. Marriage is not about what you are trying to get out of another person. It is about what you are willing to give. What you get is a byproduct of what you invest. Some more fun facts. Married men are statistically far more wealthy than non-married men. 84% of millionaires are married. 68% of them are in their first marriage, and like 90% of them didn't even make their first million until after 50 years old. So do the math. They got married and then they built their wealth together. Oh, and men with high IQs are more likely to get married than men with low IQs. I imagine we will find a few of the latter in the comments. All of that said, I say this as a man who is not married yet. Marriage should not be taken lightly. It can either define you or destroy you. It is the most important decision that you will make in your life. And I don't know about you, but I would never advise someone to get into a plane where there is a 50% chance of it crashing and over 80% of the time being due to the pilot's decisions, which is the current divorce statistics with women representing the pilot, which is a stat that obviously is not so black and white, but it also should not be brushed over. So the next conversation might be, should prenups be the new standard for men seeking to get married in the modern world? It may not be romantic, but maybe it's necessary.